I'm your host, Blanca, and today we have the Laws of Physical Evidence hosted by Dr. David Lippman, chiropractor extraordinaire. What is up, Dr. Lippman?
Good morning, Blanca. So great to see you. We had a couple of weeks where we were just too busy to make this happen, but I'm very glad to be back on the network. And I'm especially excited today because, one of my passions, as I've talked about in different ways in different parts of the program we've done, is that I'm always looking for things, and this has been a lifelong pursuit, that really tap into the body's own, healing capabilities or growth capabilities, because I've always believed inherently that we could always get better as we go along. And that was contrary to the messaging I got as a youngster, because fortunately I started working out when I was 10. So as a teenager in my 20s, I'd been working out, and, my dad and his friends were, looking at me. They'd say things to me like, once, I used to look like you when I was your age. And I'd look at them and say, well, do I have to look like that when I'm your age? Or they'd say after 40, it's all downhill. And I didn't want to believe that then. So I've always pursued things in a way to, again, tap into the body's recuperative capabilities and the belief that you can continually get stronger and more fit as time goes on, as opposed to thinking you hit 40 and then it's all downhill. So I've always looked for things to enhance that, things to invest in for myself. And recently, I'm very excited about it because I've been able to see measurable results. I found a product, and it's called Bioprotein, and I've actually invited the creator of it, Dustin Baker, onto this webcast to talk about it, because I also know that when there's cutting edge stuff coming on, there is always a passionate story behind it, something that has driven somebody to do something for a particular reason. And so I'd like to introduce, I'll call him my colleague, Dustin Baker, the owner and operator of Bioprotein Technologies. Dustin?
How you doing, Dr. David?
Good morning. Great to see you there, buddy. How are you today?
Great to see you as well. I really appreciate you guys having me on. I'm thrilled to be here.
Well, I'm really thrilled to have you because, as I just mentioned, I know there's always a great story behind when something new like this comes out, especially something that really taps into the body's ability to grow, regenerate, to heal. And so fortunately, I have you and to explain that to the audience, because I know they'll be really interested to hear it too. So how did you get started in bioprotein tech? Like, how did you get involved in the business? Like, what's the story behind the products that you created?
Yeah, thanks so much. I actually got my start in the fitness industry, working with collegiate and professional athletes and in their training programs. And we saw that a lot of the guys had very serious issues with recovery, or even when they quit playing and they're what are considered veterans, and they're looking for to regenerate or get back to where they were when they played or before they played, and they had all these nagging injuries or all these issues with recovery, getting faster, stronger, and better. And what we found was, with the addition and supplementation of growth factors, which is what our products are, growth factors, they are able to get the same types of benefits from as a product similar to a synthetic hormone replacement, like a TRT or an HRT, which are banned or forbidden in the league of use or non-medical use, and actually pose a lot of harmful side effects and risks later on in life. So we put together the product to supplement the growth factors that they're missing out on as they age. We added a really cool structure and compliance system to that to help them never miss doses or stay on track day by day. That integrates right to their phone. And it's been a huge success thus far. So we're really excited to share it with you guys as well.
That's terrific. And I know I'm interested in knowing more specifically, and I'm sure the audience would want to know too, is what specifically are growth factors? What exactly is that?
I appreciate you asking that. Growth factors are really, really cool, and a lot of people haven't heard about them, which blows my mind. So they're definitely the future of the industry. They do the same things a lot of hormones do. So they're cellular signaling devices. As you age, your, for instance, let's use growth hormone. Your human growth hormone decreases by about half by the time you're 30, 40 years old. The same with growth factors. Human growth hormone is actually turned into growth factors like insulin growth factor 1 after it's metabolized by the liver, and then it's sent out into the bloodstream to tell your body to do things. Growth factors tell your body to do things like accelerate healing of soft tissue, muscle mass, tendons, ligaments. They tell your body and cells to create things like elastin and collagen, which is what keeps your skin tight. They tell your body to increase the potency of oxygen in your blood. So all of these things, as they decrease and your cells stop doing more of it by 30, 40 years old, what we're able to do with growth factors is add in those growth factors your body's just not creating anymore. And growth factors don't have the same negative risks or negative side effects that a synthetic hormone does. So we're able to give you all the benefits without any of the side effects. So it's again, it's been really exciting and really fun and cool to see how people respond to the products and how fast, easy, and safe they are.
So is it accurate to say, based on what you've just said, that it's actually continually to stimulate what your body might not have been doing as much after those, age passes, and that it's actually kind of keeping up to the levels that you had when you were younger and it was still putting it out? So it's actually stimulating your own body to do more than it would normally be doing in at the 30s, 40s, 50s.
100%. And what's cool is that you're able to actually optimize not only what your body is creating and doing, because every year after 18, I like to use human growth hormone because everybody knows that, but it controls so much of what our body does. But every year after 18, those levels drop exponentially, to the fact that by the time you get to 70, some growth factors aren't even made anymore, which is why your skin looks the way it does, which is why, you always think back to when you're 18, you're like, man, I used to work out like crazy. Why can't I work out like this anymore? And it's not that you can't work out, it's that you can't recover. So we're able to really help that accelerated recovery and help guys and women live like they used to, feel like they used to.
That's terrific. And it makes sense because a lot of people that work out don't realize really what it takes to stimulate change in the body to progress. How hard you have to work, but understanding that the exercise is the stimulation, but then you have the recovery and the growth, which are two different things. And people don't realize that it's not happening while you're working out, it's happening after. And it also requires your body to do those things, like you're saying, to recover and then, renew those cells that have been used and broken down, and the body's going to do it in a way that will supersede where it was because you've stimulated that in exercise to surpass the strength, to surpass the cardiovascular fitness and that. So what you're saying is your growth factors that you've got in the product of Bioprotein Technologies is actually getting that body to continually do what had happened all those early years at that same level. And so you're able to continually progress if you continually stimulate yourself to grow and exercise, recover, and grow. So that's also really what's making this possible to continually get stronger as you go along. Would you say that's accurate?
100%. And I love what you said. I'd like to just add a little quip here, but about working out and recovery is one of the things that you always teach collegiate and pro athletes is every guy's working out. It's who can recover the best and who can recover the fastest is going to get the benefits and who's going to excel. But yes, with the supplementation, the addition of these growth factors, you would be surprised. And because it happens gradually, people don't notice why, how their skin looks or how they feel. People would be shocked if they knew the actual levels at which they depreciate every single year, and they've never even heard of it. So they reach for like the needle or they reach for the injections, and over time, those sometimes cause more problems than what they're trying to fix. So we've been able to help a lot of people over here, and we're really excited about it.
Yeah, that's great. I'm excited too, and I just want to share. Since I've been using your products for about 5 months now, it was at the same time that I started doing a workout that's called OsteoStrong. It's a particular set of equipment that was originally designed to increase bone density, mostly for women, but sometimes men too, that uses your force exertion in 4 machines, and it's measured because they've learned through Wolff's Law how many multiples of your own body weight you actually have to create that resistance or stress to in order to stimulate bone growth. So these machines have been programmed to exactly create, okay, if you're 100 pounds, this is 2.5 multiples of your body weight that you must exert in order to stimulate more bone growth. But it's also measuring muscular strength and output, how many pounds of pressure. So I had started that workout, which is once a week. At the same time, I started your products, and I have seen, and it's all graphed consistently, a rise. I mean, I'm up to 700 or 800% improvement from where I started. And I just turned 60 last week. So the fact that I can see and measure those strength increases and see how they carry over into my own workouts, which they have done, and my everyday life, because I have a very manual business. I'm picking people up all day. And I found that my ease of doing some 250, 300, pound guys that I've had for a couple of years as patients, it's gotten a lot easier to kind of pick these guys up. So I've seen firsthand, like what we just talked about, being able to recover better and continually stimulate growth. I've actually measured on myself, so I know this works. The other thing I'll tell you is that I have some video for myself from last year, and I could even see, like you mentioned, in my skin, I see my skin looking much healthier and like younger from 6, 7, 8 months ago from things I've looked at. So I know that the product works. So here's a great question, because there's a lot of products on the market. Really, what makes your growth factor products better and different than everything else you can get out there?
I love that question, because that's probably the question I get from physicians. Multiple times a day, and from patients as well. Most patients and most physicians actually, haven't heard about it. We're a national brand. We're in about 1,700 different offices. We've been working with physicians for about since 2009, and it's still like this new product, this new thing, the future. And that question of what makes it so different is always one of my favorites. The first thing is that the product is so different from a sense that it gives you the exact same benefits you're going to get from a pharmaceutical synthetic drug without any of the side effects. The benefits are going to be the same. The other thing that we did to help with the product was we always saw an issue with what physicians call patient compliance. So you can have the most incredible magic pill, powder, capsule, topical, whatever you want to call it in the world, but if patients don't use it, it doesn't really matter. So we went the extra step further. Instead of just creating this, this really incredible formula that works, but also taking into account, human beings. We all are super busy. Everybody's got their lives, their kids, their work, the school. It always, there's always something that pulls our mind away from taking care of ourselves. And frankly, a lot of patients suffer from that. They should be taking care of themselves so they can better take care of those around them. So we were like, okay, cool. How can we take this formula, put it in the hands of patients, and make sure they get, 100% of the benefit? So we created a really cool integrated mobile system. So with every BioPro Plus from Bioprotein Technology, we individualize the dosing. So each day correlates to a specific dose inside of your box. They're all specifically numbered. They come in 1, 2, 3, 4 different stages. And then each dose is then tied to an interactive mobile compliance program, which will basically ding you every day, text message you, shoot you an email saying, hey, did you check in your BioPro Plus? One click to your private profile. It'll actually have an integrative calendar with its own timer for how long to take the meds, what day it is on, so you can check off each little day, which is scientifically proven to create those really good habits. Make sure you don't miss a day. I mean, we can even ding you if you miss a dose. So if you miss a dose in a few days, you're going to get a message with that as well. So with the compliance system tied to the actual formulas that are proven to work, I mean, it's a win-win. It's a kind of an attack from all angles to ensure the benefits and your progress.
Wow, that's amazing. And like you mentioned, in today's day and age, having something like that is so important because of the busyness of our lives. I mean, busier than we've ever been. And it just made me think that, people need recovery from just a busy life. Forget about working out in the gym. To be able to continue to maintain that pace of work, children, family, all the different things that we're faced with now, and the stressors now, especially in this last year with the way life is so abruptly changed, that people need to fortify themselves just to live today because of where life has gone and how it's been. And it seems to me that even if you're not working out, this product can be great for the everyday person just to be able to maintain their pace of this busy life and be able to do it in a quality way and not, start to break down, because so many people that come into my office, the stress levels and what it's done to their bodies, cortisol levels. It's just amazing that it really, it's just so overwhelming. So having a product like this that can fortify you every day so you can face those challenges and come through it feeling, like you should, instead of feeling like, your life's just, draining out of you. I love the idea of the everyday person and seeing the benefit from that standpoint.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. I love that you touch on cortisol and stress because a lot of patients love our products, not just from like the accelerated recovery side or the skin and the anti-aging, but for a weight loss product as well. If patients only knew how important it is to just lower their stress level and lower that cortisol, the weight almost seems to fall off because that stress is telling their body to store fat. So with our BioPro Plus sleep and stress formula, which we call CortiSleep, that's the first thing that we see is we're able to take those super busy individuals who, doctor's going to tell them all the time, well, you need to get more sleep. Well, the first thing that comes to mind is when. Like, how am I supposed to add another, more sleep and more hours to my day? I got kids. I'm up at 5. I'm up at 6. So with CortiSleep, we're actually able to help patients get into that REM sleep faster so they can get a better night's sleep and lower that stress in the exact same time or less time. We'd like to say get 8 hours of sleep in 6. So I love that you touched on that cortisol and stress issue because that is, especially with this last year, that is the most important thing we could probably do at this point.
Absolutely. So let me ask you, what's the best way for anybody that's listening to obtain these products? Where do they go?
What's really cool is now it's important to understand that BioPro Plus is only available through approved physicians and providers. You can't just go to Amazon. You can't just go to Walmart. You can't go anywhere and get these products. They have to come through a physician. So people are like, okay, cool. Where do I get it? Well, you can actually get it directly on the BioPro Plus Bioprotein website. That's bioproteintech.com. And at checkout, you need to make sure that you select your provider, which would be you, Dr. David. So you can go into a little search bar, you type Dr. David, it'll pop right up. They select you, at which point I know that you know this, you'll approve their order and we'll make sure it gets shipped right out. So if you don't have a provider or you're not using BioPro Plus or Bioprotein Tech already, you just need to make sure you search for Dr. David's name and he'll approve your order and it'll ship right to your door.
That's great. And it's great that you really have that healthcare, auspice over it, because I think it lends a certain level of integrity to the product too, and also sets you apart because you can virtually get anything else out there on the internet, on Amazon or, anybody's website without, any physician interaction. So I think that really gives it a level up on all that stuff. Plus the fact that you said that this is all natural and tapping into the body's own natural resources. So this is win-win and just a really great quality product, which of course I've been experiencing and plan on continuing to use because I just hit 30 for the second time. And I'm hoping if I hit 30 for the third time, this is going to be a big part of it moving forward.
I hope to be a part of it. Yeah, I think it's very important for patients to understand that they need to continue to see their physician for recommendations for not only our product, but for other products. When you go to a third-party website like Amazon or a Walmart or you're buying it out of GNC, it's not that I don't like those brands. It's not that those are bad companies, but for products like this, it's very important to integrate your physician and get the approval of your physician and have them overlooking any type of protocol. I know I'm preaching to the choir here to you, but it's always good to hear from somebody else for patients to hear, how important it is to stay within, the protocol prescribed by your physician.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing all that information, much of which I didn't even know. But I'm really excited to see, again, how you came about doing it and the fact that it's really tapping into the body's own recuperative powers and keeping the body working at a higher level than what life would normally have us do. So I don't have to say to my kids later on, I used to look like you when I was your age, and then after 40, it's over the hill. Not so anymore. Dustin, thanks again for your time, and it was a pleasure to be speaking with you and listening to your story.
No, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right. We'll be in touch soon. Have a blessed day.
All right. You as well.
Thank you.